Hi, this is Tracy, and I'm going to show you how I put a face on my mother bear. So this is the bear I'm going to use, obviously. And just wanted to say before I get started on that, I think that the shape of the head goes a long way toward making a cuter bear. And when I make my bears from the bottom up, and I try to always make sure that I end up with a square here. The head definitely needs to be at least as wide as it is tall. Then when you stuff it, it gets a little narrower. When you put the ears on, it gets narrower, and the bears that I have been unhappy with tend to be the ones that end up with these kind of tall, tubey heads. So that's something to be thinking about when you're making your bear. If you're maybe you're following a pattern and just doing the number of rows that it tells you to do, but I know when I have actually followed the crochet pattern, I end up with these weird long tubey bears, and so I kind of eyeball it and just make each part of the bear, the length that looks right to me, and I try to keep him or her a little on the chubbier side. So start with about 20 inches of yarn, and like Mom, I use just plain black yarn for all of my faces. This is probably worsted, but it's definitely a thinner worsted, definitely acrylic, and maybe a little bit smoother than, say, like Red Heart or something like that. So you want to start by, you go in through the back of the neck on the bear, okay? And so you want to go toward the middle of the face where you're going to be starting on the first eye. I'm starting at the bottom of the eye on this side of the face. And I agree with Mom, what she said in her video, which is that if you want to keep the eyes closer together, it just makes cuter faces. And of course, all of this is just our opinions and everything. If you're making bears and you're happy with the way they look and they don't follow any of these guidelines, that's fine. We're making these videos in the interest of helping people who want to make cuter bears and want some tips on that. So leave a length about 5 inches, 6 inches coming out the back. You're going to be tying a knot with it and then tucking it in. Okay, so I usually, my eyes are 2 little vertical slits. And so I just do, if it's a knit bear, I just do through a couple of, usually 2 or 3 stitches, go up, and then I'll do it, go through it 3 times. So, and there's one more. And then on this one, I'm going to go across to where I'm going to do the other eye. So there's the first eye, and with this particular yarn, it just kind of creates almost like an oval kind of a shape because it bulges out a little bit in the middle, and you don't want to pull it too tight because I like to let it just kind of fluff out a little bit more and not just be a real straight line. Bring it through. Oops, I think I tightened that one a little bit too much. Okay, now I'm going to come down here. I'm going to start the nose. So I'm doing the 3rd thickness of yarn on the eye, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do the first corner of the nose. Okay? And then we want to keep that pretty close to the eyes, and so I'm going to go in the same distance from the other eye. And what I do is I come down here to form a triangle that comes down here like this, and I pull the yarn. Whoops, I keep snagging that eye. Then I pull the yarn through that loop, and it creates a little triangle, okay? And then I come down just a little bit to do that little separation that they have in their lip, in their top lip. Okay, and then I like to make my bear smile just a little bit, so I come up here. Some of them smile a lot. This one I was just noticing kind of had a half smile. I didn't do that on purpose. That's just how he turned out because it's an inexact science. So come over here and then I'll bring it out about the same and then back in at the middle of the lip. Okay, so now this is probably the trickiest part of the bear faces that I do, and that's filling in the nose. So you just are kind of going in and you're just kind of eyeballing it here, trying to fill in this space. It's not usually very perfect. I've done some big wide, if you get a big wide one, where it, you know, then sometimes they end up looking like koala bears, which is fine. I have actually liked the ones that I've done that have ended up looking like koala bears. And so you don't want to tighten it too much. You want to, again, let it kind of flare out like the eyes have. I'm not happy with that eye. Okay, and then usually just 2 or 3 or 4 lines across will fill in the nose. And I'll do one more here. And you can even poke it through the side if, you know, it doesn't matter depending on how thick your yarn is and how sharp your needle is and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're going to take the last, that face is done, so we're going to go back out through the back of the neck. Alright, and you don't want to pull too tight on that. And then you're going to just tie a knot. And then you're going to draw these ends into the body. So it's nice and secure. And so if she has a little black knot at the back of her neck, you know, not a huge deal. And you're just going to poke those through, and if they're, sometimes, you know, if you cut it shorter, then they just disappear inside the bear, or else you snip off the ends. And there, she has a nice little bear face. So this is a knit bear, this is a crocheted bear. Comes out pretty much the same on both of them, and that's how I do my faces.